Please give an energetic and warm welcome to the one and only Amogh Lila Prabhu Ji.
So there was one case, the person had 7 marks on his body. And in the previous life, as he was a gangster, so there was stabbing, so the person marked in 7 places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exactly in the same places. Crores of rupees of drugs, heroin, etc. They come from the neighboring countries. We have got 2 friendly countries. One is Pakistan, one is China. Very friendly countries of India. So they supply drugs to India so that the youth, the intelligentsia of India can become dumbo-fied.
Krishna Prabhu Ji.
Hare Krishna, Aryan.
I'm so grateful that you're here. It's such an honor. So thank you so much for coming here. Just having this conversation with you is such a big deal for me. You can't even imagine.
Thank you very much for inviting me under the tree.
Of course, of course. Now my first question is, being an actor, I've personally seen the false selves that people have to put up in the industry, and I can see the unhappiness within them. Many of these people are successful and famous, and it's almost like their true self is yearning for something else. Why is it that even after accomplishing their dreams, reaching that fame and success, that they aren't happy?
We have got physical needs, we have got mental needs, we have got egoistic needs, intellectual needs, and on the top there is the need of self-actualization. That means spiritual need. That means spirituality is our need, and they do not fulfill this need. This need is always starving. You know, physical needs we fulfill. We go to gym, we have nice eating and sleeping and all that. Very good. Social needs. Hey, hi, how are you doing, man? Social needs met. Yes. Intellectual needs, in case you learn something new. So intellectual need is also met. Egoistic need is also met when somebody appreciates us. Yeah, you are so good, man. You are such a darling. Egoistic need is also fulfilled. But what about the spiritual need? That spiritual need remains orphan, and that's why even people, they are successful, they have all the money, fame, selfies, autographs, yet they are not happy because the core is not happy. Among all the needs, physical needs, social needs, intellectual needs, egoistic needs, at the core, the nucleus, like in an atom there is nucleus. Yeah. So of all the needs, the nucleus is spiritual need, and the nucleus is starving. So electron wala part, wow, but that part is empty. There is no substance inside. I can relate. Yeah, so that's why iron has to be converted into gold by some metallurgical process. Yeah. Some kind of heating and hammering and boiling and all of that. Then iron can also be converted into gold. So similarly, the heart has to be transformed. It has to be beautified. That's very important. Mostly you see that such people who are actors from glamour industry, they are attractive people. Yeah. Because externally they are very beautiful, they are gorgeous. But in case somebody is externally beautiful, that person is attractive. But in case somebody is internally beautiful, that person is captivating. And which is more important, to be attractive or to be captivating? To be captivating, obviously. So that's why we have to become internally beautiful as well. Exactly. Not just externally, very good, yeah. Exactly. But when comes anxiety, when comes chaos in life, then this will not help. This will help when we have the inner strength. Because your now happiness, it requires validation. Yeah. It has to be validated by somebody else. How many likes do I have in my pic? How many likes? How many people positively commented? One negative comment, depression. I know people who commit suicide even when they say negative comment. Yeah, you know? Yeah. That's why they say just switch off this comment part. I just can't tolerate these negative comments. I can't handle criticism. Yeah. I can't take feedback. Totally agree. Yeah, so that's why we have to make that heart humble as well, prideless as well, which comes naturally by devotion, because they are not doing it. So this external veneer, which is very glamorous, which is golden, it is not going to last. It is not going to. So we have to take care of that aspect as well. Once I was flying in Virgin Atlantic, so there's one air hostess, she came to me. So we like to have veg and omelette, sir? I said, well, neither of them. Thank you very much. I have my stuff. Thank you. So after some time, I went to the loo. So the same air hostess, she was sitting and she was weeping, why me? Why me again? I liked him so much. Why me? Oh, so sad. Cutie pie. So all prayers for you. So again, I went back to my seat. The same air hostess who was weeping, again, she was there in the next seat and she was saying, would you like to have veg and non-veg, sir? No, people follow mannerism outside. Hey, how are you doing? I'm fine, thank you. Yeah. This artificial mannerism is substanceless. So more we are substantially happy, then we see that other person would be happy coming in touch with such a person who is genuinely happy.
Yeah.
No artificiality, nothing. This is the way I am. Pure gold.
Yeah.
So we should try to do that. So because people from this glamour industry, because they do not do this, and that's why we see that they are not satisfied. And because they are not satisfied, so those who come in their touch, they are also not satisfied. How can two beggars make each other millionaire? So you are a beggar, I am a beggar. Let me loot you, you loot me. Can you become millionaire?
No.
Not possible.
It's impossible.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So that's why, that's the condition in this world.
Yeah.
I love you too. I don't have love, you also don't have love. So what kind of love each of us will have? Nothing. So that's why we have to bring more substance, spiritual substance in our lives. When we do this, then we can handle fame as well.
Yeah.
I know people who become even, they are fried out even with fans. Fans come out of love. Sir, can I have a selfie? Please, can you please leave me?
Oh.
I want some privacy, man. So, but I love you to hell with your love. They can't handle love. They can't handle it because they are prone to get agitated. You know. So there has to be that equanimity should be there, and that comes by devotion. So they can't even reciprocate with love. People come with love. So can I have an autograph? Can I have a selfie with you? They become angry on their fans.
Yeah.
Oh. So that's why somewhere that thing has to bring in themselves. Like Elvis Presley, after the performance, he came to the edge of the stage.
Yeah,
he took off his pant, took off his underwear, and he urinated on the audience. And people were bathing, you know, this droplet will purify me from material existence. Whoa, really? Is that so?
Yeah.
But is that a kind of respect we should have towards people? Absolutely not.
Of course not.
Yeah. So somewhere this external opulence is not really a great achievement. Yeah. More important than that is to win over one's own mind, oneself. So self-conquest is the greatest victory. That's what we should be focusing on. Self-conquest.
Self-conquest.
And to the youth who are depending on external substances such as alcohol and drugs to remain so-called happy in their lives, why is this not a permanent solution to get rid of the sorrow and problems that life throws at you? Weed has become legal in so many parts of the world, like New York, and the youth is doing these drugs, you know, to escape depression. Why do you think that's not the solution?
$150 million of intoxicants in terms of wine and all is imported from the other countries because we are not able to produce sufficient supply. Guys, please give us. Crores of rupees of drugs, heroin, etc. They come from the neighboring countries. We have got two friendly countries. One is Pakistan, one is China. Yeah. Very friendly countries of India. So they supply drugs to India so that the youth, the intelligentsia of India can become dumbo-fied. So that's what is happening nowadays. In the West also we see that in the way to explore. You know, let's explore. Yeah. What will you explore, you fool number one? What will you explore? Yeah. So when there is no knowledge, so exploration becomes a destructive activity. Mm-hmm. So then in a spree to explore, they also explore drugs. But in this spree, they get intoxicated. And once they get intoxicated, the intelligence becomes bound. When the intelligence is bound, then you cannot really think the way you should be thinking. You cannot do that. So that's why drugs make us ultimately zombies. You've seen zombies? Yeah. So that's a way to make ourselves zombies. That means because the intelligence goes dull. I asked when I was in USA, so I asked my boss's boss. I said, why is it that the jobs, they come to India? He said, because most of the youngsters in USA and Europe as well, they are drug addicts. Because Ohio is in center of America. And that has a mafia for supplying drugs. So all the universities and colleges, they get drugs. And and in case you are not taking drugs, you are abnormal. Come on, man.
Exactly.
You justify your existence in this community when you are taking some kind of intoxicant, which with such hard labor, a regular supply is coming from Ohio. So in this way, drug is supplied, and then youth, they become drug addicts. And that's why many of the jobs, they come from USA to India. Not that American youth, they are not intelligent, but they get intoxicated with this cheap fun. And that's why the jobs, they come to India. Of course, now India is also on the same trail, on the same path. Many of the youth, they are addicted to so many different kind of drugs because they're also exploring. Yes, let's explore and then enjoy.
Yeah.
And then they are also becoming zombies nowadays. So that's why, so it's a threat to the youth. In order to make them physically weak, mentally weak, emotionally bankrupt, and spiritually far, far away, this is one-stop shop. Make them addicts. So we are to give them spiritual substance. And we see that during Vietnam War, when there was hippie culture and people were addicted to drugs. So such case studies are also there. And such people who are living such irresponsible life transformed into super responsible lives.
Yeah.
Wow, what a transformation.
What a transformation.
So he used to say, well, when you take drugs, you go high, but then you come down as well. And then again, you have to take drugs so that you go high, but again, after some time, you come down. I will give you something by which you can stay high forever. Yes, Swamiji, is there something by which we can stay high forever? Yes. And then he gave them Krishna consciousness, this devotion to Supreme Lord Krishna. When he gave them this, and the result was so clearly, tangibly visible, transformed, absolutely purified, and they are living such pure life, getting up in the morning, taking bath, eating pure vegetarian food, offered to the Supreme Lord, chanting of the holy names, caring for others, distributing the holy literature, the holy message. Wow. So just see the transformation. So that's why we have to give them this higher taste. Lower taste would always be captivating us, in case there is no other choice. But when we have the higher taste, naturally one gives up the lower taste. So how can somebody give up the lower taste? By having the higher taste. So drugs, they are having their own taste. Illicit sex is having its own taste. Money, power, post, position, it has its own taste.
Yeah.
So we are to give the higher taste, then one naturally, easily, seamlessly, effortlessly gives up the lower taste.
And the very fact that we will not take any fame, money, or relationships with us when we die and leave this body shows that our life purpose is not materialistic success. If so, what is the soul's life's purpose?
The soul's life purpose is to revive our love for God. That's the ultimate purpose. In between, I can have other purposes, like, for example, getting a nice job, taking care of my family, their physical needs, their emotional needs. I should be a very responsible citizen.
Yeah.
So that way, these are some mini purposes as well, which we fulfill, and we should do that. Taking care of the health. Yeah. So these are some of the mini purposes which we should take care of. And ultimately, the purpose is to revive our love for the Supreme Lord. So both the purposes are to be taken care of in parallel. And both, they nourish each other. In case you are healthy, you can, so that's why then you would see that it is easier for you to execute spirituality. And in case you are becoming spiritual, so you are able to see that your physical health also gets positively impacted by being spiritual. When your mind is good, your physical health also gets positively impacted by your good mental health. And good mental health naturally comes by bhakti, by devotion. So in this way, we see that both the purposes, they mutually nourish each other, they help each other, they support each other, and ultimately we revive the ultimate purpose, which is to revive our genuine, pure, sublime, devotional, ecstatic, euphoric love for Supreme Lord.
And when we talk about spirituality for the youth, it's very difficult to eliminate things like desires, relationships, and pleasure seeking completely. How can we practically implement the teachings from the Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis without having to fully renounce these things?
Lord Krishna says you don't have to renounce. Who can really renounce? Who has something? Everything is actually owned by the Lord. So what can we renounce? So what we can do, we are to dovetail everything in spirituality. Like, for example, we Hare Krishnas, we also eat nice food.
Yeah.
We also have noodles. We also have pasta. We like it. Oh yes, of course we like it. But we offer it to the Supreme Lord and then have it. You like singing and dancing? Of course. Who doesn't like singing and dancing? But we can sing Hare Krishna and we can dance on the holy name as well. Why not? So singing and dancing, that's also there. We Hare Krishna, as we get up at 4 o'clock, 4:30 we start singing and dancing. Who in this world starts singing and dancing at 4:30 a.m.? No one, but we do. Who gets a chance to dance on the roads? You know, Hare Krishnas are famous, whether roads from Russia or roads in America or Canada or India or in even Pakistan. There are devotees chanting and singing on the roads.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
That's
very good.
absolutely
In terms of relationships, we have got such big friend circle. There are so many devotees. They are my friends. They are my brothers, my sisters. Wow. So who has asked you to give up the relationships? We make everything Krishna centric or God centric. That's it. We don't have to renounce anything. Just like before independence of India, everything was, in terms of clerical work, everything was same. And there used to be a stamp of the East India Company.
Yeah.
Yeah. But after 26th of January 1950, when India became a republic, so then everything was working same. All clerks are same, the clerical work, the official work, the administrative work, everything is same. But now there is Government of India stamp. Everything is same, but the stamp is now different, right?
Yeah.
Earlier it was East India Company, now it is Government of India. So similarly, we are to just, that activity we don't have to change, but the consciousness behind that activity, that we are to change. More you make it devotional, spiritual, God-centric, so that activity becomes spiritual. Even when you are working, well, why can't you work for the Supreme Lord? Whatever money you get, give something to the Lord. Like for example, you are an actor.
Yes.
You make a nice short movie, short film, educating people about spiritual sciences. How to deal with difficult people, how to have emotional care, how to have practical spirituality in day-to-day life, how to sing Hare Krishna. So, and in this way you make nice short movies, and in this way you are using your talent of acting in the service of the Lord. If in case you become an IAS officer or you become a politician, now you have the power. So you can use this power to have grand festivals for the Lord. Why not? So that's why we don't have to give up desires. We don't have to become desireless. We have to spiritualize our desires. There are people, there are, so to say, spiritualists, they say just give up these desires. Give up these desires. But desire is an inherent quality of the soul. And because it's an inherent quality of the soul, that means the soul cannot become desireless. That's like saying having a milk without its whiteness. How can we separate whiteness from the milk? It's the inherent quality of the milk. Similarly, consciousness, feelings, desires, it's an inherent quality of the soul. So the desires becomes absolutely zero? No. Material desires are to be given up, and then spiritual desires are to be cultivated. Also, we are to spiritualize our desires. We are to spiritualize our ambitions. That's it. So that way you would see that bhakti is so very practical. It doesn't ask you to renounce the world. It recommends you to spiritualize your world. It is not the world which binds us. It is a materialistic existence and materialistic attachment which binds us. More we spiritualize it, even this world doesn't bind you. You live in the material world, but not in a worldly way, but in a spiritual way, right? So desires don't have to be renounced. They have to be dovetailed towards the Supreme Lord in love, in devotion. That's it. And that's very practical as well.